Okay. So in the last lecture we have seen what is an inner product. Before going to inner product, we must know what is a dot product. As you all know what is a dot product, we have written a dot product of any two vectors. Suppose A and B are any two vectors. Say this is A bar and this is B bar, and theta is an angle between them. So how you are going to write down A dot B? It is nothing but mod A mod of B cos of theta. In the Google Classroom itself, I have shared you a in detail description of how dot product works, because actually the dot product is working with the help of our projection. Projection in the sense, अगर आप suppose आप सूरज आपके ऊपर है, the sun is exactly on the head of you. So what will be the image of yourself? It is simply a point, right? Suppose the sun is behind you, so you will get somewhat an image, right? Sometimes you will get bigger image, sometimes you will get a smaller image. So this is what a projection, and projection in the sense it is in the Marathi we call it is a savli. So how the projection of A is on the B. So this I can write it as mod of A cos theta, and the detailed description how it is mod A cos theta, that I have given you in the Google Classroom itself. So you have to study what is a dot product, how it works. And in the last lecture, I have shown you with the help of one thing that we have multiplication, then we have extended to dot product, then we have extended to inner product. Correct? So multiplication of any two numbers. Suppose I am writing 2 into 3. What is the number? It is 6. Everyone know. Or in another way, if I am writing 3 into 2, it is again 6. Correct? So how I am going to evaluate this? So let me draw a line. So here it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So how I am going to work 2 into 3, that is 3. This will be a 3. Okay. This is 3. I have to work this 3 distance 2 times. That is, this will be 3 into 3. That is 2 into 3. That will be 6. Again, if I want to work for, that is 3 into 2. That is 3 into 2. It will be again 6. So this will be, this is 2, 2, again 2. Correct? So this is distance 2, 2, 2. So this distance 2 we have taken 3 times. So it will be 6. Correct? So this is what a simple multiplication of any two numbers, any two real numbers, or any two integers, right? Now if I want to extend that idea, instead of having an integer, if I want to work for any two vector, suppose A bar and B bar are any two vector. What are their x and y computer? These are AX, AY, BX, BY. Correct? It has AX, and this is AY, and this has BX, and this is BY. Correct? Now if I want to write down the dot product of this, I have to write down firstly AX dx, then AX by plus BX AY, and finally we will have AY by. Correct? So what will be AX dx? AX and BX both are in x direction. AX by, AX is in this direction, BY is in the y direction. Bx means bx is in this direction, ay is in the upward direction, that is in the direction of y-axis, and here ay, by means both are in the direction of y-axis. So if you want to work, what is the dot product of parallel lines? Obviously the angle between them theta is 0. So what I get, simply I can write it is ax bx, right? Cos 0 is 1. So what is an angle between x and y axis? It is 90 degrees. So obviously dot product of these two will be 0. So B remains with the last one, that is A by B1. Right? So how to work for any, if you are having any two vectors A and B, dot product is simply with the two terms. What are those two terms? A dot B is nothing but AX bx plus AY by. Correct? Why? Because angle between x and y axis is 90 degrees. So cos 90 is 0. So these two terms will be 0. Okay. A dot B is nothing but I can write in the similar way as AI BI or I equal to 1 2 because we are having only x and y. Suppose if I want to work for x y z, so it will be summation over I 1 2 3 like this. Okay. Now let us evaluate this. So simply we have a multiplication. Then how we are going to perform the multiplication of a number? So here it is symmetric property, that is alpha into beta is nothing but beta into alpha. That is if you are having any two real numbers. Okay. Right. Now let me write down the next one. What should be the next property? We are writing it is linearity. Okay, how the linearity works? That means we have to prove the linearity, that is if suppose alpha plus beta and the gamma is another number. So how we are going to write this as alpha gamma plus beta gamma. Correct? Next property is homogeneity. That means if you have three numbers, say alpha beta into gamma, it is obviously equal to alpha beta gamma. This is simply a multiplication of a number. If alpha beta gamma, all these are real numbers, and obviously the product of, if suppose alpha is any real number, what will be alpha dot alpha? Okay, what is alpha dot alpha? It is positivity. Alpha dot alpha is always greater or equal by 0. Correct? Okay, let me write down the next one, that is a dot product. So you are going to write down the dot product. Just now we have written u dot b is nothing but summation over I ui di, and we know that u dot b is nothing but v dot u, because a dot product always obeys the abelian property or commutative law. Next, if you have any two vectors, say u plus v w, it is obviously equal to u dot w plus v dot w. Okay. Similarly, if you have u dot b and we take the dot product with w, it is obviously equal to u dot product with v w. And if you take any two vectors, u dot u is obviously greater or equal by 0. Rather, it is strictly greater than 0. If u dot u equal to 0, it means that obviously your vector u should be 0. Correct? So let me go for the next one, that is an inner product. How we have generalized. Okay. How you are going to write down u dot v, and inner product is nothing but, it will also obey the law v dot u. Right. In the next chapter of functional analysis, that is in the Hilbert space, you will come to know how the inner product and the norm have a relation. Which one implies which one? That means whether norm comes from inner product or inner product comes from the norm. Okay. So this one also u plus v w, the inner product of this I can write it as uw plus vw. Correct? So now what will be the inner product of u with u itself? It will be simply, how you are going to work for u dot u? So it will be simply we can write it as simply x dot x. Suppose you want to write down u dot u. Correct? What will be u dot u? It is nothing but your mod u square, that is a dot product cos of theta. Now cos theta, what is an angle between itself? Theta is 0. So we can write it is mod u square. So we can now say that the norm of x is nothing but inner under root of inner product of x. Correct? So the inner product is derived with the help of a norm. How it is derived? Let me write down once again. What is x dot x? We can write it as mod x into mod x cos of theta. What is theta in this case? Angle of x vector with itself is 0. So we are going to write down x dot x is simply mod x square. So what will be mod x? It is simply x dot x raised to 1/2. Correct? So this modulus, and nowadays modulus I can convert to norm. Why this is so? Because norm and modulus are very similar. Because norm will give you the distance from the origin itself, but norm give you the distance from origin, and modulus give you the distance between the any 2 points. So now this term I can write it as norm of x is nothing but under root of inner product of x dot x. Okay. So in detailed description you can see in the functional analysis, in which you have an inner product space. Rather, your Hilbert space is nothing but complete inner product space. Just like your Banach space. The Banach space is what? It is nothing but complete norm-linear space. Then what is a Hilbert says? It is nothing but complete inner product space. Okay. So inner product we have derived with the help of a norm, and hence we can say every Hilbert space is a Banach space. Okay. So now let me go for our syllabus. So let me write down the first we are going to see in this lecture is a frame field. Now everyone know what is a frame. If you think of frame, you might be thinking of we are having one frame of a photo like that. But it is not like that. In case of differential geometry, we have frame in the sense, suppose we have a set of vectors, say E1, E2 and E3. Right? We have three vectors E1, E2, E3. And what is the condition for this? They are mutually orthogonal unit vectors of E3 at a point P. They are mutually orthogonal unit vectors of E3. Okay, what do you understand by mutually orthogonal? The dot product of E1 with E2 and E1 with E3, obviously it is equal to 0. What is the meaning of unit vectors? What is unit vectors? Norm of E1 should be equal to 1. Okay. And at a point P is called a frame. Okay, these vectors which satisfy this condition at any point P is called a frame. So what is basically frame? We have the three vectors E1, E2, E3. On the condition, what is the condition for E1, E2, E3? They must be mutually orthogonal unit vectors. First, they are mutually orthogonal in the sense EI dot product with EJ is equal to 0 if I is not equal to J. If I is equal to J, it should be equal to 1. That is E1 dot product with E2, E2 dot product with E3, or if you take any vector with another vector, the dot product should be 0. Why this is so? If I want to say you, just like suppose you have a 3D system. Okay, what is the dot product of a vector going in x direction and a vector going in y direction? What is the dot product of these two vectors? If suppose I am saying one vector is in x direction and another vector is in y direction, what is the dot product of these two vectors? Obviously, dot product will be mod of x, mod of y, and cosine of angle between them. What is an angle between them? Is 90 degrees. So obviously, the dot product of a vector going in x and y direction, it should be equal to 0. Cos 90 is 0. Similarly, I can have suppose x, y, z. Right? We have x, y, z. So what is the dot product with in between x and z axis? It is obviously equal to 0. So in a very similar way, suppose we have E1, E2, E3. These are the vectors. E1 is a vector which is in x direction, E2 is in y, and E3 is in z direction. So mutually orthogonal, obviously we know that x, y, z, that is our 3D space, is with x, y, z axis, they are obviously mutually orthogonal. What is the next condition for these vector is a unit vector. That means they have a unit distance from the origin. Instead of having an origin, we are shifted them to a point P. That is, in general, any point P. That means, suppose you have any point P, at any point P I can have a unit vector, say this is in the x direction, this is in the y direction, and this is say in the z direction. Okay, so these are mutually orthogonal unit vectors in, and on the condition they are at a point P. Instead of having a at origin, we have shifted them to any point P. So we can have a resemblance with our coordinate system, that is, say we have, this is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, and here we have an origin, correct? So these are very similar, but what is the condition? Here we should have a, they are unit vectors, and here they are shifted to any point P, and here we have a origin. So they are very similar, but what is the condition? Next very important condition is a unit vector. And here there is no restriction of a unit vector. This is our 3D system, that is our 3D space. Here we have origin O at 0, 0, 0, and we have x, y, z axis. But here they are shifted to any point P. At any point P, I can have a 3 mutually orthogonal unit vectors. Suppose I have this point. So at this point, I can have, this is x, y, and z axis. At this point, I can have those vector x, y, z axis. And what is the condition? They should be mutually orthogonal, and the next condition is they should be unit vector. This condition can be described with the help of this. Ei dot Ej should be equal to 0 if I is not equal to j. That is E1 dot E2 0, E2 dot E3 0. Okay. Similarly, E1 dot E3 0. And if you take E1 dot E1, it should be equal to 1. Why it is 1? If I take E1 dot E1, what is the dot product? Mod of E1 cos of, what is an angle between the vectors? E1. Okay, these are same vectors. So what is an angle of what is an angle made by E1 with E1 itself? It is 0. So we can have this as mod of E1 square. Okay, cos 0 is 1. So what is a E1 is a unit vector. So obviously, what is the modulus of this? It is equal to 1. So we can generalize this concept as we have written for E1 dot E1 is 1. We can generalize E2 dot E2 will be mod of E2 square. E3 dot E3 will be mod of E3 square. Okay. So what is the main condition for having a frame field? We should have 3 mutually orthogonal unit vectors. We should have 3 mutually orthogonal unit vectors, and they can be described at any point P. Instead of having a origin, we can have any point P in the E3 space, or any point P in the E3 space. I can have 3 mutually orthogonal unit vector. First condition is mutually orthogonal. Second condition is they should be unit vector. Okay. If you are not having any doubt with this, we'll go for one theorem. What is our aim to prove? If V is any tangent vector to E3 at a point P, if V is any tangent vector to any point P in E3 space, then what is the condition? We have to prove that any tangent vector V at a point P is written as VE1 plus VE2 plus VE3 dot product with E2. Okay. V is any tangent vector at a point P. Now, if V is any tangent vector at a point P, those who know or those who have studied may know about this we are having any point P, we can have a many number of tangent vector, and this I am saying this as a TP of E3. We can say this is a tangent space. What is a tangent space? It is nothing but collection of all the tangent vector at a point P. That means we can say in another way, that all the tangent vector which have P as a point of application, we can collect them in the TP of E3. So what is the TP of E3? It is nothing but tangent space. Okay. So all the vectors which have P as a point of application, we can collect them. We can name this as a TP of E3. Okay. So in this TP of E3, we will also have, suppose what is our aim? We are having the three mutually orthogonal vectors, E1, E2 and E3. What is E?
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry for disturbance. So what we have, we are provided that E1, E2, E3. We have E1, E2, E3 are the forming the frame field. And what is our aim to prove? P is any tangent vector at P is any tangent vector at a point P in the E3 space, and we want to prove any tangent vector V is written as VE1 dot E1, VE2 dot E2, VE3 dot E3. Now suppose if you name this as some A1, this is some A2, this is A3. So what you will see this V as A1 E1 plus A2 E2 plus A3 E3. So simply we have to prove that E1 E2 E3 if they are nothing but the basis for our TP of E3. Okay. As P is any point P in the E3 space. So at any point P I can have these three mutually orthogonal unit vector. And from here only we are taking one tangent vector, say V. Okay. At a point P we have one tangent vector V, and what is our aim to prove? Any tangent vector V now can be written as a linear combinations of E1, E2 and E3. Okay. So we have to prove that any tangent vector V can be written as a linear combinations of E1, E2 and E3. So what are those A1? We have to prove this A1 is VE1, A2 is VE2 and A3 is V. Okay. So let us prove. For proving this, first I have to prove E1, E2, E3 are the linearly independent. Okay. To prove this, we have to prove that E1, E2, E3 are the linearly independent. Okay. So how I am going to prove they are linearly independent? First I have to prove that E1, E2, E3 are linearly independent. Okay. To prove this, what we are doing every time to prove any vectors to be linearly independent, we are taking the scalars A1, E1, A2, E2 plus A3, E3 is equal to 0. Okay. We are taking the linear combinations of E1, E2, E3. Okay. So if I want to prove any vectors to be linearly independent or dependent, we are working like this only. We are taking any scalars, and finally if I prove all the AIs are equal to 0, then it is linearly independent. If all the AIs are not equal, at least one of them is non-zero, then we can say it is linearly dependent. Okay. So if I want to prove all the AIs are 0, so let me take the dot product of this with E1. A1 E1 plus A2 E2 plus A3 E3. Let me take the dot product with E1. Here also 0 dot E1. So it is obviously equal to 0. Correct? So what I get? A1 and E1 dot E1. What is E1 dot E1? I have told you dot product of E1 with E1 itself should be equal to 1. Why? Because these are unit vectors. plus A2 as it is, E2 dot E1, obviously it is equal to 0 because the dot product in between x and y axis is 0, plus A3, E3 dot E1 is equal to 0. Correct? What is the dot product of E1 with E3? Obviously equal to 0 because this is a nothing but your z and x axis. Angle between x and z axis is equal to 90 degree. So dot product of E1 with E3 is a 0. Okay. So let me write down now. So what will be this A1? E1 dot E1 will be 1 plus this will be again 0. This is 0 equal to 0. So what I prove, A1 is equal to 0. Correct? So if I take a dot product with E1, I am getting A1 is 0. Correct? We have started with, if I want to prove E1, E2, E3 are linearly independent, then I have taken the linear combinations of this. That is, we have A1, E2, E3, these are any scalar, and we have taken the linear combination. If I want to prove linearly independent, I have to prove all the scalars A1, A2, E3 are 0. To prove this is 0, we have taken the dot product of this equation with E1. So dot product of 0 with E1 is 0. So finally, if I take a dot product, E1 dot E1 is equal to 1. Why? Because E1, E2, E3 we have given they are frame. What is the meaning of frame? They are mutually orthogonal unit vector. Mutually orthogonal means what? Dot product of E1 with any other E2 or E3 is 0. Okay. Why this is 0? Because the angle between x, y, z axis is always is always 90 degree. So cos 90 is 0. So hence we can have E1 dot E1 is 1. Why? Because they are unit vector. E1 dot E2 is 0, E1 E3 is 0. So hence we get A1 is 0. So if I taken the dot product of this equation with E1, I am getting A1 0. So if I have taken the dot product of this equation with E2, what I will get? A2 is 0. Correct? Similarly, I can have A3 is 0. So in general, I want to write down this. So I will write this as this is A1 E1 plus A2 E2 plus this is A3 E3. So if I take the dot product with EJ, it is equal to 0. It implies that all AJ is equal to 0 for all J equal to 1, 2 and 3 in general. So you can evaluate for J equal to 1, 2 and 3. Okay. What is the condition for being a frame field? We have provided that E1, E2, E3 are forming a frame field. And what is our aim to prove? We have to prove that any tangent vector V which have been taken from TP of E3. Correct? So we have E1, E2, E3. We are provided that they are forming a frame field. Now I have any tangent vector V. To prove that this tangent vector V can be written as linear combinations of E1, E2 and E3. Okay, for that first I have proved that these are linearly independent. How to prove they are linearly independent? To prove they are linearly independent, we have already what is procedure for proving it is linearly. Okay, so all the scalars are 0. We have proved they are linearly independent. Okay, everyone know about your E3 space, right? And here we have suppose TP of E3. What is the difference between them? So this is shifted to origin and these are x, y and z. What is the TP of E3? At any point P of a E3 space, I can have a many number of tangent vectors. Correct? So for that I am naming this as E1, E2 and E3. And this is any vector V. This any vector V can be written as a linear combinations of E1, E2 and E3. And I have told you already E3 is nothing but your R3 space, and already you have proved that R3 over R is a vector space. And I have told you to prove TP of E3 is also a vector space with the help of a two operations I have given you. What are those operations I have given you? That if you are having any tangent vector V and W at a point P, so this I can write it as CP W. If there is any scalar A B at a point P, I can write it as AB. Correct? This was a homework for you. I don't know if you have done it or not. With the help of these two operations, we can prove that TP of E3 can be a vector space. Okay. So if this E3 has a dimension 3, this TP of E3 will also have a dimension 3. Why? Because just now we have proved that even E2, E3 forms a linearly independent set for TP of E3. Okay. They are forming a linearly independent set for a TP of E3. And we know that for finite. So we know that sorry for the problem of net. Due to problem of net, I am not able to complete the lecture in one time. No doubt I am sharing this lecture on the YouTube itself. Okay. Okay. So what we have proved, even E2, E3 are linearly independent. So if suppose you are having a finite dimensional space, if you have a finite dimension. Sorry. Okay. Now I am audible. Am I audible? Okay, fine. So we have E3 is isomorphic to TP of E3. So E3 we already know that it has a dimension 3. And what is TP of E3? It will also have a dimension 3 because even E2, E3 will form a basis for TP of E3. Why it will form a basis? Because we know that for finite dimensional space there is no need to prove they are spanning. So we have to prove simply they are linearly independent. And just now we have proved that even E2, E3 are linearly independent. Okay. So now what is our aim to prove in this? We have to prove any tangent vector V. This can be written as a linear combinations of the frame vectors. What are our frame field vectors? E1, E2 and E3. Okay. So just now we have proved they are linearly independent, and for finite dimensional space we know that linearly independent condition is sufficient to prove they are forming a basis. Okay, so even E2, E3 will form a basis. Now let me have V. Right, V is something that I can write this any tangent vector V as C1 E1 plus C2 E2 plus C3 E3. Correct? Why? Because we have proved that even E2 E3 are basis. So any tangent vector V from your TP of E3, any tangent vector from TP of E3, now I can write in the linear combinations of E1, E2, E3. Okay. What is our aim to prove? We have to prove V is equal to V1 E1 plus V2 E2 plus V3 E3. Correct? That is, we have to prove C1 is V1, C2 is V2, C3 is V3. Okay? So for that, let me have a dot product of V with E1. Okay, so this whole dot product with E1. So this is C1 E1 plus C2 E2 plus C3 E3. So C1 as it is, dot product of E1 with E1 will be 1. C2 as it is, dot product of E2 with E1 will be 0 plus C3 as it is, dot product of E1 with E3 is 0. Okay, so what I get finally, V1 is equal to C1. Right? Similarly, if I taken the dot here, if I taken the dot product with E1, so I am getting the value of C1. So I can have a dot product of, next step we can have VE2. What will be VE2? I will get the value of C2. And then VE3, I will get the value of C3. So initially we have got VE1 is equal to C1, VE2 will be C2, VE3 is a C3. What we have to do? Simply we have to do, this is C1 E1 plus C2 E2 plus C3. This is nothing but your V. Simply you have to perform a dot product with EJ. Okay. So if you perform a dot product with EJ, you will get the value of C3. Correct? So what I get? C1 is V1, C2 is V2 and C3 is V3. Just put up in the above equation. So we get, what is a C1? V1 dot product with E1 plus V2. This is value of C2 dot product with E2 and then V3 dot product with E3. And hence a result. Okay. Now I will give you one problem to solve. I am writing this on the board and you have to prove it. Okay. Prove that the tangent vectors, vector E1 is equal to 1 upon root 6 1 2 1. E2 is equal to 1 upon root 8 minus 2 0 2. Next, E3 is equal to, we have 1 upon root 3 1 minus 1 1. Okay. Now what is our aim to prove? These E1, E2, E3 forms a frame field at a point P of a E3 space. Okay.